Hey, I'm James Demer, the audio nomad. I'm here with Morgan Andrzejczyk from Headamame, who is like, we were supposed to start this a few minutes ago, but he just can't stop tinkering because he's a tinkerer. I think, I would say I'm kindred spirits with people who like to make their own stuff, and you seem to fit the bill.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Have you always made your own stuff?
Yeah, I have. I think...
What's the first thing you remember making?
The first thing that popped into mind was I had this old bicycle, and it was this old kid's bike that I grew up into and past. And when I was, graduated to my next bike, I looked at my old one and went, I think that'd look good with a banana seat on it. And I'm out of 2x4s. I made this this goofy seat with a sissy bar, but it's all 2x4s. And on the top, it had a pair of skateboard trucks, so I could technically ride on my back and steer around. It was a really chaotic thing. That's the first thing that popped into my mind when you said, "Do I always tinkered with things?"
Did it? Yeah. Did it work?
Yeah. It was. It had the old that when you pedal backwards and you get the braking. So it actually even had brakes. So I could be on the back wheel on my back, and if I had to stop, I could. Yeah, it worked.
You could skid and roll, and that's crazy.
Yeah, it was something.
I know that you started Headamame in 2020 during COVID. But before that, you once ate a piece of birthday cake with a straw, and I'd like you to tell me how did you come to eat birthday cake with a straw?
Yeah, we had this tradition in my family where whoever's birthday it was got to choose which utensils everybody got to eat the cake with, and my sister picked a straw, and that was my the thing that I had to use. Yeah.
And did everyone did she eat hers with a straw as well?
Yeah. No, it's you get to pick from the kitchen any one thing, so it's
you got the straw but she got a fork?
Yeah, and then maybe my mom got a soup ladle or some other goofy instrument from the kitchen.
Oh my God, that is so good. Yeah. That is hilarious. But it's the thing that's the dangerous thing about that is when it's your birthday, she's gonna know that you're just gonna pick something like a knitting needle or something that's close by.
Yeah. That comes around. That comes around the next birthday for sure.
Yeah, I love it. So Headamame is a great name. I love the name Headamame, and my understanding is that a Reddit you used to call it you were just called soybeans or something, and then a Reddit user looked at one of your headphones and saw that they looked like Headamame.
Yeah, actually, I don't think it had a name. I was just posting and saying I'm going to make 3D, I'm going to design a 3D printable headphone chassis. And at some point somebody said, "Oh, that looks like edamame beans." And I went, "Great." Yeah. I didn't have a name yet, and I just grabbed it. And I said, "All right, call it Headamame." Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. That's so fun. So I met you in 2024 at Can Jam. Yeah. So 2024 Can Jam, New York City, you show up with some headphones and no table, but someone didn't show up and their table was empty for the first day, Saturday.
Yeah.
And so you just took it, right? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I had showed up and, so that was a crazy weekend. That was a crazy weekend. We showed up. I just wanted to go to a headphone show, I had been.
Was that your first headphone show?
Yeah. I had been to 3D printing shows, because that's kind of where that was the main gripe with the original Headamame was I have a 3D printer. Where's the good products? And can I print I wish I could print a product that I would have bought off the shelf. And so that was kind of I had existed in this 3D printing land for long enough that I went, I should get to a headphone show. I should go Beatsy headphones,
Because you're into headphones, like you're into music and you're into like high fidelity and that sort of thing, I'm guessing. So somewhere along the line, your love of making your own stuff like became designing and 3D printing objects, and you thought, I'm going to make headphones because I love headphones, and either no one's doing it or I can't afford. Like, tell me, let's get a little bit of that backstory.
So I think the premise for Headamame is actually like born of frustration. I was looking at 3D. I had just built a 3D printer that was, more capable than lots of the stuff that was on the market at the time. And I was looking around going, okay, well, now what? And all the designs out there are like little dragons and fidgets and like, stuff I look at and go, well, this is a novelty, but I don't want to print a novelty out of this.
What's the boat?
Benchy. It's a 3D Benchy.
Benchy the boat. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's it's a calibration file. It's a fun little thing that everybody can print. It's a clever thing. But for me, I was looking around going, this is a marvel of technology. Like, we can 3D print something. Why are we printing boats? Let's print something that has value, not that you get the point. And that was, around the same time, a friend of mine had taken me in and out of like a hi-fi center nearby my place, and sit down and listen to a speaker system worth the apartment that I'm in, and just going like, wow, this sounds really good. And I think timing helped the creation of Headamame, where I went, I bet I could design something that could be 3D printed and could sound pretty good. So then that was the start of that's how the design originally started.
Did you start by like tearing apart someone else's headphones, or did you start from scratch?
I would say I started from scratch. I mean, I looked at headphones a little bit, but a real constraint of mine was I wanted people to be able to ROI a 3D printer. And at the time, the Ender 3 was a classic thing that was getting hawked. It was like, you could get an Ender 3 for $100 US. And I went, okay, well, what if with $100 and then another, $100-ish for a kit of parts, you could wind up with a headphone and some filament. You could wind up with a headphone that sounds better than the sum of, better than the money in. And, sound being subjective, depending on the, beauties in the eye of the listener or the ears of the listener or whatever. Some people have really glommed onto that and went like, wow, I can create something good.
But that's interesting, because that sort of shows your true entrepreneurial spirit, that you immediately started thinking about making something for other people, not just for yourself. Like, I think maybe that's the difference between you and me, although I have gotten there too with my own speaker company and stuff like that. But generally for me, it always starts with something that I want and am chasing. And then other people are like, oh, that's cool. Like, can you make one for me? But it sounds like maybe you kind of got to that place of making something for someone else or wanting to create something pretty quickly.
Yeah. I went straight to like, let's get this out into the world. I had been, at the time I'd probably already had a 3D printer for like 2 or 3, maybe 4 years. And, hence the frustration. I'd spent a bunch of time in this space going like, well, there's lots of talk about repairable parts and things, but like I say, my constraint was, what if this chassis was 3D printable on a printer that you can get for $100 and you could wind up with headphones that sound good. So that's why I started from scratch, because I looked at all the different ways that you can, get the adjustment mechanism into the ear cups and allow some pivot and, allow the size to be changed. And I kind of had to start from scratch with a fresh look at how can you do this in a way that, can be done on a 3D printer.
And then, there's the thing that's like, you're going to make something if like it's the you is me, like, if I'm going to put the time in to make something like, it almost, I don't want to say it doesn't matter if it sounds good, but like there's so much sort of pride and, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like it's like satisfaction, deep satisfaction in something that you've created yourself that it almost surpasses like the sonic qualities of the thing that you've just created.
Isn't that like, and that's like something that I heard said in Dallas when I saw you last at CanJam, was like, how I've heard it said in the hi-fi space is the psychoacoustics. Where, you go through this ritual of plugging in your system, like the thing that you've curated, and you've decided on what sounds good, or, what you like, how it looks. And I relate that to like going to a coffee shop. It's like, if I like the vibe of the place, if the barista was nice to me, and I like the way the cup feels in my hand, that coffee's going to taste better. And in the audio space, you can go and buy your specific setup and, get it just so. But yeah, this is kind of taking it to that next level of, well, what if you never mind right to repair? What about right to manufacture? And you can just build the thing, which is, it's if you get to choose the colors and the materials, and you had a hand in that thing's creation, then yeah, it's probably going to sound a little bit better to you as the creator.
So you have currently on your website, which is headamame.com. So you have two sort of build it yourself models to choose from, and then the Pro. So maybe just briefly tell us a little bit about, first, let's start with the build it yourself models that you have.
This is the V2. This is an updated version of the, same form factor, same size, same over ear setup as the ones that I originally released. And that's kind of our over ear model. We've got an on ear model that's smaller. It's called the Headamame, and a little less expensive. That one is kind of popular for people with kids who are going to chuck their headphones or, rip the cables apart or whatever happens. And yeah, that's been the main two offerings on headamame.com up until a month ago.
And are they the same drivers, just different cup sizes?
Yeah, mainly. The Headamame is a 40 mil driver. It comes with a mic where it comes with a cable where there's a mic on the cable, and then the Headamame can be built as with a boom mic that plugs into the ear cup, or you can build it without.
I saw that extra hole there. So is that for like gaming, or for like, why would you want that?
Yeah, for anybody who's a gamer or wants communications on their work calls. I've seen some people build them in the theme of the company that they work at, which is kind of funny. It's fun to see all the different the designs that people come up with, and then the ear cups themselves can be customized. So people have done some pretty cool designs, and it's been fun to see what where people take it.
It looked to me like you offer kits, like you offer the parts, but then the prints, the STL files are free. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. The files for V2, the Headamame, I guess the original, and Headamame are both they're available for free. That's
very cool. I love that you're offering that to the community for people who just want to build something and maybe already have the parts. Or
it's been fun seeing some people will like harvest drivers from a headphone that snaps and's out of warranty or something. They'll go in and yank the drivers out and make something that's repairable and new to them.
Tell me a little bit about the Pro. I know you worked with Brian from Capra a little bit.
Yeah.
How'd the Pro come about? And you're using this glass driver, kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just got to say, for anyone who hasn't seen the your video of the glass driver going up and down, and then the how you did it video, I will put a link to in the show notes, because it's super awesome. Like, it looks super professional. Like, it doesn't even look real, but then you actually did it.
Just for anybody that went and looked at that, hearing that from James is like the best thing I've heard this month, maybe. So we touched on this. I think it's an interesting story. The same weekend that I met you in New York was actually the first weekend that I had met Brian. And
Brian from Capra.
I rebranded my company. It used to be under it was a little project under my friend's company. I relaunched, got to attend the Linus Tech Tips LTX Expo here in Vancouver. Got a bit of press about that, and
that's Vancouver, Washington, I'm assuming,
BC.
right?
BC, Canada.
The other Vancouver.
The actual Vancouver.
I see. Okay.
I'm sorry that you think it's the other Vancouver.
I'm teasing you. I mean, 64 Audio might have a grudge with you on that one because they're in Vancouver, Washington, which is like.
Well, I'll have to pay them a visit.
Maybe not nearly as cool as Vancouver, BC. Anyway, continue. Linus Tech Tips.
Yeah. So what happened was Linus had a set of Headamame, and they appeared on a video with Brian's design. And really, Capra Audio's design was the focus of a video where they decided to bring in a bunch of random AliExpress parts and see if Dank Pods would like the sound. It was kind of this like Junkyard Wars style video that they made. And so what happened was I reached out, and I was excited. I got Headamame was on screen for like 10 seconds, but the focus was Brian's. And I reached out to him and said, "Hey, congratulations on the press. Kind of bummer about how they covered it." And he said, "Well, like, I appreciate it." And in the ensuing conversation, I found out that he was actually an early Headamame kit buyer, and he didn't like the sound so much on the Headamame original set that he said it's what made him start designing headphones. He was like, "I actually disliked your tuning so much that I wanted to make my own headphones." And I said, "Well, great. Like, let's meet up. Like, let's talk. Let's,
That's like the most backhanded compliment I think I've ever heard.
It's not often that you have to trust the haters, like you got to go like, okay, like I want to hear what he had to say. So we met up in CanJam. We kind of made plans to go meet up, and yeah, that's kind of where that ball started rolling a little further. And it turns out, that a supplier of mine started making a glass driver. I got my hands on a sample and turned to Brian and said, "Hey, do you want to make a headphone? Like, we'll do a Headamame Pro headphone. We'll take a brand new driver that's coming out, hasn't been released yet, and make a hi-fi, competitor. Let's say, let's make something that's really does both of our companies and both of our ethos, kind of does it all justice, And that's how the Headamame Pro started. I should say started. It's not how it came about. And over the last year, we've been working, having meetings every week, going back and forth, designing, tuning, crafting the Headamame Pro that we just launched on Kickstarter nearly a month ago, just at the beginning of November.
And is it still going? I mean, it'll probably be over by the time this airs.
Yeah. So it ends December 12th. As of today, we've raised a little over $100,000 US, which I'm excited about. We're at like 350 plus headphones sold. And those are going to start shipping in Q1 2026 is the plan.
Tell me a little bit about this glass driver and what makes it special.
Yeah, the glass driver, it's really interesting. I think that one thing that drew me to it was everyone in like the DIY-ish hi-fi community has heard of the Peerless 50 mil driver. It's in a bunch of different headphones, and the chance to get my hands on something brand new was exciting. It's got an ultra thin glass diaphragm. Let's see if I have one here. This is an older model of it, but it's got like, you can see that cloudy section in the middle. The new one is clear, but it's got this 35 micron thick piece of glass. It's like chemically strengthened, similar to the stuff on our cell phones. And it gives like a really crisp, clear reproduction, great instrument separation, and gave us a good platform with which to tune from. And, if Capra Audio was on the call, he'd pretty clearly say like the driver is actually 10% of what matters. It's actually what you do with it and where you take it and how you tune it and how you treat it afterwards. And so, it's we're excited for it. We're excited to bring it to market.
My understanding is that Brian from Capra tuned it and you did a lot of the mechanical development. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I designed the exterior essentially. We borrowed his the Capra strap design that he's been selling as an upgrade for countless headphones is integrated, and then he took care of everything inside, helping us pick the ear pads. That's like the most important, maybe the second, it might even be first. That might even be the most important part. Once you've picked a driver, that's the most important thing to figure out. And then we've got the glass driver tucked in behind there. And he took care of all the tuning of the baffle, the venting, and the damping that we're doing to try and get to our tune.
One thing I've been curious about is different sort of density of material that you're making a headphone out of, and the sort of the resonant frequency of the plastic once you've printed something. Is that something that you've experimented with and noticed that, like a PLA sounds different than an ABS or an ASA or something?
Yeah, I think that generally they've got all very similar densities. I think that you'd probably see differences. You could see differences in like stiffness. It's not something I've extensively studied, just because this headphone, we've chosen a Kevlar reinforced material for it, and that gives us some extra durability as well as a good surface finish. And so by fixing that variable, it's something we didn't have to worry about. And yeah, generally a 3D printed plastic isn't going to sound remarkably different from another 3D printed plastic, is generally what we think.
Okay, cool. And as you said, driver first, pad second, and maybe materials is a far distant third or fourth. Baffling, venting, those sorts of things probably make more of a difference. We
picked a tune target, like a kind of a goalpost for the tuning, and then said, look, we want it to be really comfortable. There's some goalposts in terms of comfort. I didn't want it to clamp as much as the HD 600. I wanted it to be more comfortable than, certain other headphones. We wanted it to sound, a little bit more bassy, but not too much. And then from there, this trickled down into choices that we made for. We kind of had the driver fixed. We knew the tune we were going for. We knew we wanted to be comfortable, and we wanted to look good. And I'm biased because I designed it, but I think it looks pretty cool as well. And then we spent hundreds of hours working towards those goals, and that's how it got there. Yeah.
So you collectively have hundreds of hours into this project.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What's been the hardest part? What was the most challenging aspect of that? What took the most time?
The most challenging aspect was a driver change. The one that I held up here was V1. That's the driver I've had in my hands up until today. Was maybe 2 years that I've had that driver. And then the pre-production model came out that was completely different. And so that happened, I think the beginning of July or late June. And that sent us into a retuning and redesign phase that was a lot closer to the Kickstarter and launch that I wanted. A fellow designer got me onto the design of the cones. This kind of the fin look that we have on the outside of the. I'm looking at it, but I'm not holding them up. This was a last minute change.
Yeah, it's cool.
And when you say hundreds of hours. When I got onto that change and realized that it looked way better than what we had before, I think I probably spent 100 hours in 3 weeks in September or more to just like get that off the line and get it to a production level. Yeah.
And what are you using? Is it like Fusion 360 or Rhino or what?
Yeah. So I use the previous design that might show up in another way in another product in the future is in you can use Blender for it, or other like mesh modeling software. The Headamame Pro is, as launched, has all been designed in Fusion 360.
I think like any sort of tinkerer or builder, you're probably already thinking about how to make it better, or what a second version would be like, or just an entirely different product altogether.
I'm really excited to get it out into the world next year. We're planning on attending a bunch more Can Jams and seeing really what the reaction is to our production models. We've even got a few changes that we're planning on making between now and when the Kickstarter unit starts shipping. There's a few things that we want to adjust. So never going to stop tinkering, that's for sure.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited to get mine whenever they show up. I know having done a Kickstarter myself, there are a lot of hurdles, even just from the close of a Kickstarter to the first unit that you ship. But if I do have them by Can Jam New York City, I'll certainly bring them and throw them on the Linsoul table for anyone to try. Yeah, and hopefully you'll be there too.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the first stop on the tour for us next year. So looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, likewise. Well, Morgan, thank you so much for taking a little bit of your time to chat with me in the middle of the day. I know it's like right in the middle of the day there. And I like your space. It looks like you got kind of good stuff going on with lots of...
Yeah, might need to do a short, like the driver video, just as a tour of kind of where the sausage is made.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, I'll put a link to the show notes for that interesting driver video that you made and the how-to, if I can figure out how to do that. And then I believe this video will air when there's still a couple of days for your Kickstarter left. So we'll put a link to that as well.
I believe we'll have some late pledges available as well once it's closed. So yeah.
If you're out there, anyone watching this, if you're a supporter of our community and especially people who really put it out there to make their own things, it takes a lot of courage and a lot of time and hundreds of hours and sweat and frustration to actually produce something that you feel proud of. And I love that about you and Brian and what you're doing, and I support it. And I hope that our community as a whole, really supports what you're doing. And, your first product may not be like a Focal Utopia, but it's probably going to be pretty good. And it certainly costs a lot less. And this is how small companies become big companies is, it's by the support and love and really just curiosity of early adopters. And that's what I hope that, you're finding lots of.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's we've done, we've done 5 years of the DIY kits. We're really excited to bring something that's hopefully similarly disruptive to the hi-fi scene as well.
No doubt it will be. Well, thanks so much, Morgan. And we'll see you in New York City, and best of luck with the rest of your Kickstarter.
Yeah, thank you, James. We'll chat with you later.
This video is brought to you by Linsoul.com. Linsoul sells IEMs, headphones, amplifiers, digital to analog converters, cables, really just about anything you could want for personal hi-fi or even home hi-fi. Their prices are great, the quality is exceptional, and their customer service is really second to none. Check them out in the link below.